What is going on, guys, and welcome to this comparison video between Tennis World Tour 1 and the brand new Tennis World Tour 2. Both games are available worldwide on PS4, Xbox One and PC, and from October 15, 2020 also on Nintendo Switch. After the initial release in May 2018, Tennis World Tour got several updates, including the official license for the Roland-Garros tournament in Paris. Still, critics weren't too good, and today we are going to find out if Tennis World Tour 2 has made the improvements tennis fans asked for, right after the intro. For this video I used the PS4 version of both games, and at the time I recorded the footage for this video in late September 2020, Tennis World Tour 1 was on version 1.15 and Tennis World Tour 2 was on version 1.2 on the day of its release. I will try to focus a bit more on the changes in Tennis World Tour 2, as most of you will be interested in what has improved. There are some additions worth mentioning in Tennis World Tour 2, which is firstly My Cards, where you can customize your skill card hand with cards you can purchase in the store. The in-game money you need for that can be earned through playing matches and tournaments. These cards can be used in-game by double tapping the assigned button on the D-pad and will give you an advantage in certain categories such as endurance, power, precision and agility. The second big addition is the option to challenge decisions or dispute decisions, how they call it in Tennis World Tour 2. By clicking the touchpad, the Hawkeye animation will start and either confirm the call or you will win the challenge. So far I tried this at least 30 times but was never successful, but maybe one day I will win a challenge. On rare occasions also the AI will challenge a decision. And the third big addition is that you can play doubles now, but more on that a bit later in this video. While the menu in Tennis World Tour 1 is built up with big squares split up into the different modes of the game, Tennis World Tour 2 uses a list view menu which consists Exhibition, Career Mode, Tournament, Online, the Tennis School, My Player, My Cards, the Store, User Profile and Options. Tennis World Tour 1 has a list of 36 players, 29 men and 7 women. Some of them are only available with the deluxe version or the Roland-Garros edition, or you can buy them as DLCs like the Legends Andre Agassi or John McEnroe. Tennis World Tour 2 has a list of 38 players, 27 men and 11 women. All of them are available in the beginning except Gustavo Kuerten and Marat Safin, the two new legends they added. You could get them if you pre-ordered the game or if you buy the Ace edition, and of course they are also available as DLC. Still, the list could be longer and players like Djokovic, Murray and especially more female players would be nice, but there are also many top 10 players like Nadal, Federer, Zverev or Thiem in the game. Agassi and McEnroe have been removed completely in part 2, and we will have to wait if there are more players in the future as DLCs. Both games offer editors where you can create your own players. There are a couple of standard faces, attributes like height, appearance, right or left-handed or your playstyle, and you can also edit face details like eyes, jaw, chin, nose and so on. Both games give you many options here, but I would say there is not really a big difference in what you can do, so not really a step forward in part 2 of Tennis World Tour in my opinion, but still they serve their purpose and work fine. With the Roland-Garros edition, Tennis World Tour 1 has added 4 new courts: the Philippe Chatrier, Simone Mathieu and the Suzanne Lenglen courts from the French Open in Paris, and the Manolo Santana court from the Mutua Open in Madrid. Overall, Tennis World Tour 1 offers 21 courts in total on different surfaces such as clay, hard, grass and carpet. In Tennis World Tour 2 you will also find the stadiums from the French Open plus the Manolo Santana, and also the newly added OWL Arena from the Halle Open in Germany, but you only get these with either the more expensive Ace edition of the game or as an additional DLC according to Tennis World Tour's website. For this review I had the Ace edition, where I have access to all 28 courts on all different surfaces and major cities. An interesting fact is also that the surface and the climate affects the gameplay now, which is displayed when choosing the court and can result in a decrease of the topspin effect or an increase of the bounce speed, for example. Some venues also allow you to change the surface to create a different experience. In terms of the match settings, both games offer pretty much the same. You can either play 1, 3 or 5 sets with 1, 3 or 6 games, or you decide to play tiebreak or super tiebreak. In both games you can play against an AI player on different difficulties. While it was only 4 levels in part 1, amateur, up and coming professional and legend, you can choose between 6 difficulties now in Tennis World Tour, ranging from very easy to expert. Both games offer a lot of details, from court surroundings to linesman, umpire, ball boys or the audience, which creates a good overall on-court experience. The audience though does not look too good in either of the games, which might not matter too much while you're playing, but during breaks or in replays you can see that they didn't do a great job. It might not be the most important thing, but I think you can expect a bit more from a game coming out in late 2020. The crowd reacts on nice shots or rallies, but it's not too spectacular and feels a bit random sometimes. And also calls made by the umpire, like when he calls fault for example, sometimes sound really weird. Tennis World Tour 2 also got rid of John McEnroe as commentator, which is a really good thing in my opinion, as he gets pretty annoying after a while, and I muted him after a few minutes hearing the same sentences over and over. Presentation wise, Tennis World Tour 1 has not much to offer besides some animations of the players between points and celebrations after a winning point. That didn't change too much in Tennis World Tour 2, but at least we have some improvements like the players walk on or the shake hands after the game. And after winning the French Open, I even got a trophy. The court surroundings look a bit better to me in Tennis World Tour 2, and court usage is present in both games, where you will see tracks left by the players after a while on clay or trampled grass. Overall, the gameplay graphics look okay in both games, and Tennis World Tour 2 has made some small steps forward, but if you compare it to other actual sport games, they could probably do a better job. The bad looking audience in both games and also the lack of high quality audio samples are my biggest issues in this category, but there are also some positive points, like the improved player movement in Tennis World Tour 2, which looks way more realistic than in its predecessor. Tiebreaks then though look quite nice presentation wise. It has an intro, its own theme, the scoreboard looks different, and you can also see the players waiting and warming up next to the court. Therefore, there is still no coin toss in the game. Maybe we will see that in Tennis World Tour 3. The main modes in both games are Exhibition, the Career Mode, the Tennis School and the Online Mode. In Tennis World Tour 2, you now have the option to start a tournament where they offer the Roland Garros French Open and Tiebreak 10s, but also here I want to mention that Tiebreak 10s is a DLC or only available if you buy the Ace version of the game. And of course, you can also create your very own custom tournament. Also new in Tennis World Tour 2 is the option to play doubles, which was requested by many customers. And yes, you can play with up to 4 people. It's a nice addition to the game, and I'm not a specialist in doubles. To me it just seemed that it sometimes ends up in a really long rally or volleys back and forth, but you can let me know in the comments if that's how it works in reality. In Exhibition and tournaments you will play your match either against a friend or the AI. You can choose whatever court, difficulty or player you want, and of course in Tennis World Tour 2 you can also do this with a double partner. The Tennis School offers a variety of different training modes in both games, where a ball throwing machine is used and you will have to return the ball into different zones. These trainings will teach you different shots and should improve your timing and the power you use on different shots. I personally have the feeling that they could do a bit more here, like showing you examples of when or where to hit the ball, for example. The career mode is built up as a year-long season in Tennis World Tour, where each month gives you different options. You can either play tournaments, exhibition games or do trainings to increase your attributes. You level up your player by playing tournaments, which will not only rank you up but also give you experience points. Once you have enough experience points, you will reach the next level, which will give you attributes you can apply to your player. There are 3 categories: attack, defense and serve and volley. In Tennis World Tour 2 this was changed a little bit. This player improvement is now called archetypes and has the categories attack, defense and precision. Once you change one of these categories, you will gain a boost on either your endurance, power, precision, agility, forehand, backhand serve or volley. Coaches will give you a bonus in certain areas like additional power. Additionally to the coach, you can also hire an agent who will negotiate better prize money and so on. Last but not least, you can change the visual appearance of your player and buy new outfits or rackets with the money you earn through your career. In Tennis World Tour 2 you need to level up to unlock certain things, and especially the clothing selection is really limited in my opinion. While you have real brands for the rackets, brands like Adidas, Nike, Fila or Lacoste are not in the game, most likely due to licensing issues, which is really boring as it would be nice to have a bigger selection in this category. Overall, the career modes of both games are more or less the same. For me there is no improvement as you just advance from month to month. There are no cutscenes, no animations or whatsoever. It's a bit sad that the developers couldn't come up with something more advanced in this category, as it gets boring after a while and there is not much to do besides winning tournaments and getting number 1 at some point. In the online mode of Tennis World Tour 1 and 2 you can either play a quick match against an online opponent or play a match against a friend. There is also an online league mode where you have to win a certain number of matches to get promoted to the next league. There is also a ranking system where you will rank up after winning matches. Basically this game mode looks the same in both games, except that you can complete objectives in Tennis World Tour 2 to earn extra coins to buy skill card booster packs. In both games you are able to use topspin, flat shot, slice and lob with the circle, square, X and triangle buttons, and there are some special combinations like drop shot, volley or inside out by using the shoulder buttons. Also you need to use the right shoulder button to sprint in both games, which I personally find a bit annoying and I wish they would have left it out in part 2. The actual gameplay is a bit different though in both games. In Tennis World Tour 1, tactic is the key to win games. It's important to read your opponent's game and choose your swing wisely to outplay him. In Tennis World Tour 2, the focus is on precise timing. You can either press and hold a button to fill the power meter and release it in the perfect moment. An indicator for the timing will tell you if it was too early, too late, good or perfect. Same goes for just tapping the button in the best moment, which will result in a more precise swing but with less power. Also the serve is new in Tennis World Tour 2. You can either do a safe serve just by tapping the button right when the dot reaches the middle of the bar after the ball toss. The second option is to charge the ball till it reaches the highest point and release it for perfect power. So as you can see, both games follow a different approach, but I would say Tennis World Tour 2 made some improvements in this category. Movement now looks more realistic in Tennis World Tour 2, but I still have the feeling that often the gameplay is too repetitive and opponents make the same mistakes over and over, which results in boring gameplay after a while. One good thing though is that rallies with more than 50 shots didn't happen anymore, but the gameplay still needs more variety and, most important, more balance. Especially with my young career player, I often had no chance at all to compete, even though my stats looked higher than the opponents. I also wish they would have added an indicator on the opponent's side to see where I place my shot. To conclude this category, here are some side-by-side comparisons of both games to show you some of the shot and movement animations. Honestly, I was hoping for more, but still Tennis World Tour 2 is an improved version to its predecessor. The player movement is more fluent now, but still the game lacks of options, which leads to boring gameplay after a while. I'm also not a big fan of the skill cards and the system how to get them. Even though you need to earn the money through gameplay and it's not via microtransactions, it's based on luck and often I forget to use them, or when I do I don't really feel any difference. At this stage the game also has some bugs, for example in career mode you are not able to select the difficulty before the game. On the one hand, each season allows you to set the length of matches, but the difficulty level can only be adjusted after you are in the match, which I often forgot and therefore lost the game or even the whole match. The difficulty also seems very unbalanced to me. I play a lot of sports games and usually it's impossible to lose on a very easy level, but in Tennis World Tour 2 even that happens quite often. Also presentation wise there is a lot of room for improvement, especially looking at the audience. The players do look nicer and more realistic than in part 1. The biggest change is the gameplay, which is totally different in both games, but with the overall presentation I think I personally prefer Tennis World Tour 2, even though I still don't think it justifies the price of 60 euros for the Ace version. Unfortunately, I would not really recommend the cheaper standard version unless you really don't care, but you would miss all the licensed stadiums and the tiebreak tents. I hope there will be major updates soon, especially to the gameplay, as I think the game has great potential, but at this moment it still feels like an unfinished game to me. Stay tuned for more updates on Tennis World Tour 2 here on my channel. If you want to see more gameplay, visit me on my Twitch channel, and if you like this video, leave a thumbs up and hit the subscribe and bell button so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. Thanks for watching and see you next time.